Hi everyone, intuitive and astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk to you about the solstice and the astrology surrounding this magical, although chaotic, time of year. If you've been feeling the pressure lately, you are not imagining it. The cosmos are building up towards a very powerful turning point. In this video, we're going to break down the astrology of the solstice, summer solstice here in the northern hemisphere, winter solstice in the southern hemisphere, recapping the major energetic shifts that are happening the second half of June. The second half of June is not just busy, it is transformative. The planets are in motion, energy is in motion. We are all in motion. And personally speaking, every shift is pushing you to wake up, to realign, and to evolve. As I am recording this video, it is June 14th, and the tension is palpable all across the world and in the skies. Feel free to go and listen to the first half of June, where I go into more detail about just the quick recap I'm about to give. Jupiter and Saturn are now squaring off. Mars and Uranus are squaring off, sparking sudden change, disruption, increased seismic activity, increased emotions, increased irritability. You might feel stretched, stirred, or completely thrown off your usual rhythm, but it's all pushing you toward growth. The solstice occurs on June 20th or 21st, depending upon where you are in the world. June 20th, 10:34 p.m. Eastern Time is when we have the sun entering the sign of Cancer, initiating the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. And in the southern hemisphere, it is the winter solstice. Just before the solstice, the sun in Cancer squares Saturn in Aries. This can feel heavy. You may notice emotional pressure, societal pressure, limitations, or a sense of responsibility weighing on you. It's asking you to slow down and prioritize what's of utmost importance for you right now. And also to get honest about where you may need stronger foundations. Right after that, the sun moves on to square Neptune, also in Aries. This adds a layer of fog and confusion. You might feel unclear about next steps, but this disconnect is also meaningful. Remember, Neptune's energy dissolves what's not aligned, opening spaces for insight and spiritual clarity, if you're willing to sit with the unknown. Then we arrive at the solstice itself, the official start of summer here in the northern hemisphere as the sun enters Cancer, the official start of winter in the southern hemisphere as the sun enters Cancer. This is a reset moment. It's the longest day of the year, where light peaks and your inner compass gets recalibrated. This energy opens a 3-month window that carries all the way until we get to the equinox in September. What you choose to plant now, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, will unfold over the coming season. This is just a snapshot of what's unfolding. Now let's explore how to work with these energies, how to anchor in the light with the solstice, and what this means for us moving forward, what this means for you moving forward. Right now, as I'm recording this video, it is June 14th. The tensions are mounting all over. The energy is charged, it's inflamed, it's palpable. There are protests going on everywhere. Hopefully they remain peaceful protests. I just want to make the reminder of remaining very aware of your surroundings at all times and trusting your inner knowing, your inner compass, your intuition, allowing your discernment to guide you forth or to hold you back. Nobody can do that better for you than your own intuition, your own inner compass. As we move towards the solstice on the 20th, we have been and will continue to experience massive solar flares. There's a lot of solar activity, and this absolutely is felt physically, emotionally, and through technology. Lots of glitches going on right now. That will continue over the coming months, but it's going to be very heightened around the time of the solstice and as we move throughout the end of June. Our physical bodies are feeling this energy. Just a few of the symptoms, and of course this is not a medical diagnosis, always get yourself checked out before assuming that anything you're experiencing is energy related. Having said that, some of the symptoms, just some of the symptoms that are being felt right now universally, headaches, vertigo, feeling knocked off balance, and for some people it's happening more at night. Sleep patterns are all over the place. You can find that one night, and this has happened to me a few times, goes through spurts. Sometimes you're sleeping for like 6 hours and you feel okay the next day. Other nights you barely get a wink. You're lucky if you get 2 hours. And then you can have a stretch where you're sleeping for like 10 or 12 hours and you're still feeling exhausted. The energies are intense. Aches and pains, achy joints, sleepless nights. Again, headaches, migraines as the third eye integrates with all of this energy. Strong energy right now. It's like an energetic activation, a spiritual activation that you can't necessarily see, but you feel. We are at a spiritual checkpoint until September when we get to the equinox. There's a very strong sense of fatedness surrounding everything going on right now. But of course, we also have free will. Relationships are being tested. You're being encouraged to really respond. Be a responder, not a reactor. Take your time. Be an observer, not an absorber. It's very easy to get sucked into the vortex of others and the energy and all the craziness that's going on right now. The solstice reminds us to anchor the light, our own light, our divine light, and share it. The downloads are pouring in, the intuitive downloads. Intuition is off the charts right now. A lot of people's clairs, psychic abilities, are ramping up. New abilities are being developed. You may find that you're seeing auras, you're seeing colors around people where you've never seen that before. You may find that you're hearing spirit, seeing things clairvoyantly before they happen, just having an innate knowing that you can't explain. Everyone is on a different timetable with their abilities. We all have psychic abilities, everybody does. It is true, though, however, that not everybody is as tuned in or scheduled to come into them in totality in this lifetime. And that's fine because you may not want to. But the reality is that those that are here are definitely feeling it. You are recalibrating. You're coming back to self in a stronger way than you ever have before. And I'd like to pull up the chart for the solstice just to really give a picture of the energies. There's so much here to discuss. We see the sun here at 0 degrees of Cancer, which is how we have the solstice when the sun enters the sign of Cancer. Here where I am, it will be 10:43 p.m. Eastern time. Again, for those in other parts of the world, it's going to be on the 21st. And we see Jupiter now in Cancer, Jupiter exalted in Cancer. Jupiter loves to be in the sign of Cancer, and I talk a lot more about that in the first half of June video, and I've got a Jupiter in Cancer reading through the signs coming out shortly as well. Jupiter in general is a very expansive planet, a very expansive energy focused on abundance and benevolence. And in the sign of Cancer, it's about love and home and comfort. It's also about the spirit, spiritual, the connectedness of all. Jupiter is also about traveling to different realms of consciousness. Think about your dreams lately. Think about your sleep. A lot of people are experiencing astral travel when you're actually out of your body while you're sleeping and you're doing work. We are working in our sleep. That may not resonate for everybody, but I know for some it will. Now, right off the top, as the sun moves into Cancer, it's moving into a square with both Saturn and Neptune. This is stressful. It's really, really important to be very discerning right now. Discernment is key. It's important to recognize that, and I think what's happening is a lot of us are recognizing that no one is coming to save us and that we have to save ourselves. Individuality, spiritual sovereignty, connectedness with others, all very prevalent at this time. There's this strong energy of wanting to accomplish things, getting things done, bringing in the new, anchoring in the light. We're dealing with a lot of early degrees of the cardinal signs right now at the initiation of the solstice, and that's extremely significant. The cardinal signs bring things forward. They make things happen. And in the earlier degrees at the very beginning, the possibilities are tremendous. We just have to be aware of them amongst all this tension. So personally speaking, it's a really important time. It's a really powerful time to look inward, to reflect, to look at what you want to accomplish and to make an active, realistic plan of how you're going to achieve that or how you're going to work toward it. And if you don't know what that is right now, it's about accepting that and being in that space too. Because the Sun square Neptune is also very disorientating. It dissolves what we think and feel. It can dissolve our emotions. It can make us hyper emotional, hypersensitive for better or worse. So again, discernment is key. Now, another big theme, both on the world stage and personally speaking, has to do with Dharma, our collective Dharma and our personal Dharma. What is Dharma? It's basically our spiritual code of conduct, aka our moral compass. So some things will be coming into question for you that are going to pull you back to your compass. Are you aligned? Are you being authentic? A lot is coming up to the surface. We're going to see this play out on the world stage as well with leaders. We're seeing it already. There's going to be exposure also on all fronts, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. When emotions are buried, when situations have been put to bed and not resolved, it creates friction, it creates sickness even in the body. That energy has to come out. And the truth coming out sets that energy out, for better or worse. Because we're dealing with Neptune here too, there could be a lot of deceit, deception, or we can feel like we've been deceived. There could be some confusion around certain situations in our lives. Also, again, speaking of the sun here, square Neptune, the sun can be, if we're talking mundane astrology, the sun can be the leaders. So deceit through leaders, being deceived by leaders, feeling that way. Or it could be playing out, hopefully not, but could also be playing out for you personally. But again, there's a lot of exposure. And then the reminder here with Jupiter in Cancer, because Jupiter is also squaring off with Saturn and Neptune, let's not forget. Jupiter reminds us that we can't get too big for our britches. It's important to not overpromise and then underdeliver. Jupiter reminds us that when we are good, when we are kind, when we are loving, we incur good karma. When we go overboard, we're not necessarily doing anything better. Sometimes we actually make things worse. We can be a part of our own demise. So it's about the recognition of where we have the tendency to overdo it. Jupiter is also associated with gluttony, greed, abuse of certain things, abuse of power, abuse of dependencies. So we're going to be seeing, feeling, and hearing a lot of things that have to do with the truth coming out. And in a lot of ways, that could be very good. We've got a lot of things going on here in the earlier degrees of the cardinal energies. We've got the sun at 0 degrees of Cancer. We've got Jupiter at 2 degrees of Cancer. We've got Saturn at 1 degree of Aries and Neptune at 2 degrees of Aries. At the inception of the solstice, the moon is at 0 degrees of Taurus. That could hopefully help us, ground, at least off the top. Get out into nature. It is your friend. Do a nice solstice ritual outside, whether it's warm or cold. Anchor in the light, anchor in the energy through the earth. We've also got Mars here now in Virgo at 2 degrees of Virgo. And the interesting thing is that Mars is making the inconjunct here, the quincunx, to Saturn and Neptune. And also Mars is making an inconjunct to Pluto here at 3 degrees of Aquarius. This is actually part of a yod, which is known as the finger of fate or the finger of God. Some of us have these in our charts. Yods represent sacred spiritual missions, but it takes, usually the way it works with yods is it takes some sort of a crisis in order to kick off that yod and let us come into our highest work, our highest good. At the base of this yod is the sextile between Pluto and Saturn and Neptune. So there's a sense of magic and wonder to this time. It's also gifting us with the ability to strategize. Mars in Virgo is all about strategy. It's about precision. It's about calculated risk and calculated action. So there's some adjusting here that's taking place to not overreact or to not act prematurely. This Sun-Jupiter makes a nice sextile to Mars in Virgo. And then here we have another yod, another finger of fate. The Sun-Jupiter conjunction here in Cancer makes an inconjunct to Pluto. Pluto, again, makes the inconjunct to Mars. And then Mars makes a supportive aspect to the Sun and Jupiter, a sextile. So there's a second yod here. I feel like there's a lot of magic to this energy, but we kind of have to really sift through the grit to get to the gold. And that's why it's really important to focus on that which you can control, which is what's going on for you, what's going on with you. How can I be better? How can I do better? How can I help? Another strong energy around this time. How can I serve? Mars and Virgo. How can I try to make things better? Sure, I may get met with some pushback, but I'm still going to try. That's this energy. And Pluto in Aquarius, so active in these yods. This reminds us that underneath it all, it's about truth, it's about transformation, it's about community, and it's also about enhanced vision on all fronts. Increased interest in all that we do not see, the spiritual, the metaphysical. We're undoing a lot of what has been taught to us that no longer rings true, that which no longer aligns, that which no longer sits right with our spirit. That's exactly where we should be right now, collectively and personally. We also have to talk about Uranus now at 29 degrees of Taurus. Increased seismic activity all across the globe. Mother Earth is speaking through us. Mother Earth is screaming at us in some cases. And Uranus at the 29th degree is also very constructive for change. It's like that chomping at the bit energy on a personal level. So especially if you're fixed and in the later degrees, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, you'll really be feeling this push to really turn the corner, turn the page. And for everyone, this is a feeling that's going on. But don't be surprised if there's a lot of disruption to electronics around this time of the solstice. And as we move throughout the remainder of June, heightened seismic activity, underwater activity, volcanic activity, all of it. Speaking of specific areas that kept coming into focus were Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Hawaii. Hawaii kept coming up, especially a lot surrounding the soil in Hawaii. And I heard Rockport, but I wasn't even sure where that was. So I looked it up, and Rockport is actually in Massachusetts, and there's also one in Texas. Intuitively, I was feeling I was getting more of the Texas, but I don't know, just pay attention if you're in Massachusetts as well. And I'm talking about when it comes to the weather, because there's a lot of like crop up, pop up, crazy storms, lightning. I know we had a massive storm here a few nights ago, and it woke me up out of a dead sleep, and the thunder was like rattling the house, and the lightning was insane. It actually scared me. Something like I haven't really ever seen before. It's like pictures, flashes. I feel like that's also very increased right now. Another area, Papua New Guinea, that also kept coming up. So again, just if you're in those areas, just pay extra attention. Trust your discernment, trust your judgment. And while we can't, of course, change things, we can just be more aware and take precaution. And like I always say, the pray it out method is amazing. For anything, things that you feel or think that you don't want to manifest, pray them out. Because our thoughts create our reality. And the more we feed the fear, the less we feed the faith. So we want to really try to feed the faith and starve the fear as much as we can. It's not easy right now, but we can try. Speaking of Hawaii, positively speaking, we have Haumea, the Hawaiian goddess of fertility. We've talked about her a lot in the past. Haumea is up here, and Haumea is actually, I don't have the aspects drawn in, but Haumea is actually configured into another yod. So this is actually a third yod that we have going on here in this chart. Wow, okay, so Haumea is making an inconjunct to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction here in Aries. She sextiles Mars in Virgo, strategic service. Virgo is very strongly connected to the mind-body healing, mind-body energy, the meridians, plant medicine. This is the Hawaiian goddess of fertility. And not to go too deep into the mythology of Haumea, but Haumea was also the goddess of childbirth. She birthed many children herself. She had many offspring, as mythology goes, where she birthed her offspring from several parts of her body, from multiple parts of her body. She also repeatedly transformed herself from an older woman to a young girl, and then would return to her homeland to actually marry one of her said offspring. And then she would continue to give birth to generations of humans. There's a lot more to it, but she also created a special potion out of the earth. Haumea is very much connected to the earth, to plant medicine. The potion that she created allowed the mothers to push out babies naturally. All of that to say, very strong connection right now to plant medicine, healing, using the assistance from the natural world to help us right now. And going back to Hawaii, of what I was picking up on psychically with the soil, I feel like this is about the rebirth, the regeneration of a lot of our resources, a lot of the resources in Hawaii, of Hawaii. Anyway, we'll see how that plays out. It just was coming through strongly with this reading. And any destruction that may or may not occur will also bring forth regeneration and new possibility. This is a reminder that we can come back, we can rebirth, and Mars makes that inconjunct, of course, back to Saturn and Neptune. So that right there is actually a third yod. Okay, I like that. I look at this as a sacred mission for us to heal the planet. I look at this as we're all here to help to birth the new Earth, to help to heal the planet. And we know with Pluto here, Pluto's actually squaring Haumea. So we know that it's not going to be easy, but it will be deeply transformative. And there's going to be a strong rebirth that follows. We have to hold on to that. There's a lot of magic, even though I don't like that word. There's a lot of magic. There's a lot of spirit present. One more thing. This is not to fearmonger, but it is reality. And I have to mention it because it's here. We have asteroid chaos. 3 degrees of Cancer. Now, I don't think I really need to explain that asteroid chaos is the god of chaos. And chaos is aligned with this Sun-Jupiter conjunction. But more than that, chaos also squares Neptune and Saturn. And when we're dealing with asteroids, we want to deal with like a real tight orb. So like think 3 degrees max. But considering that, not to make this just about the US, but considering that the US the birth chart of the United States of America is a Cancer. This is the entrance of Cancer season, the birth of America, right? We've got Jupiter here, and then we've got this alignment with chaos. Chaos squaring Saturn and Neptune. Well, we can literally see that there is chaos all around us right now. And if we technically want to do this again, there's a 4th yod that pulls in asteroid chaos. Geez, okay, chaos here at 3 degrees of Cancer in conjuncts Pluto exactly at 3 degrees of Aquarius. Aquarius in conjuncts Mars here at 2 degrees of Virgo, and then Mars makes that sextile to chaos. Transformation, transformation, transformation through destruction, through disruption, through potential chaos. We're here, we're living this right now. We're living through it. Personally speaking, this can pull chaos literally into your most personal, intimate, closest relationships. Doesn't have to be anything crazy negative. It could just be, and I think everybody's feeling this right now, heightened emotions. A lot is coming up to the forefront. What's happening right now is that none of us are able to just stay dimmed in a specific way. Like maybe we're not living into ourselves truthfully with certain people in our lives for whatever the reason. Maybe we've been lying to ourselves that we're happy in a specific dynamic where we're not. A lot of that is coming up right now. Everyone is feeling it. This is why relationships are being stretched and tested. And a lot of us are realigning and moving forward. We've been talking a lot about this over the last year. I'm back. I thought I had already come back on here a few minutes ago. So back to that chaos, like I said, within relationships, within relationship to self, we are all experiencing this feeling of spiritual turmoil. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that there's this leveling up that's taking place. Emotionally, physically, spiritually. We are not meant to stay the same. None of us are. We just have to consistently check in with self. We have to stop. We have to take time. We have to reflect. What's worth it to you is worth it to go into in a deeper manner. It's worth it to do shadow work around it for yourself and for others. A lot of relationships are actually ascending to different levels, higher levels, where other ones are falling away. It's a part of the process. Trust it. Ask yourself, am I feeding the faith or am I feeding the fear? And then also feed the flow, especially right now. It's really easy to allow fear to consume and control us. I myself have to work actively to not fall into that trap, to not fall into that space. And that's what I do because it's easy to fall into that space. Feed the faith, starve the fear, feed the flow. Now, for my members and my exclusive subscribers, I have a solstice ritual and I also have a guided meditation. If you'd like to know more about my memberships and how they work, just hang on. There's a little message here at the end of the video. And if this is where our journey ends, much love, many blessings, take really good care. And I will be back soon to talk about the really nice new moon in Cancer that we have taking place at the end of this month. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. Warm wishes for a happy and healthy 2025. I am so excited to be here with all of you, all of my beautiful subscribers, and to continue to put out supportive content. I will continue to give you astrological and intuitive updates. My channel will not be changing. I will be doing new moon and full moon readings along with some insights through the signs, monthly astrological and energetic updates, astrology updates overall, and some more how-to videos, readings on current events, etc. None of that will change. That will also be here on my channel, but I am excited to roll out a few new options for 2025. Here on YouTube, I now have a membership. That membership is $7.99 a month. You do not have to join the membership, but you can if you want to. And what that membership encompasses is obviously all of the general free content that is out there and will continue to be out there, but with more exclusive content. So every Sunday, I go live and I give the astrological and energetic forecast for the upcoming week. And we have some spiritual chit chat there. There's a live chat. Now that is going to be sent to you with the YouTube membership by recording. If you wanted to be a part of the live stream, I have another subscription, which is based on Substack, which is where I have my newsletter and where I am the most interactive. And that will also be linked in the description box below if you're interested in that. But the Substack membership is $10 a month, okay, to be transparent, or $100 per year. And every Sunday, I do go live and I give the astrological and energetic update and forecast. And it's, like I said, it's interactive and I answer questions. And then monthly, I do a live Zoom where I go into more details for each month, readings through the signs. And in those monthly lives, there's also the opportunity to be read, both astrologically and psychically, combination of the two. That is with my Substack subscription. That is with my newsletter subscription, to be clear. The YouTube subscription, the one that is $7.99 a month, you will get the recordings of everything that I do on my Substack newsletter. To join the YouTube subscription, all you have to do is go right to my homepage and just click join. And once again, thank you to all of my amazing subscribers. I'm so thankful and grateful to each and every one of you. I'm also grateful that I get to provide this content, and I really hope that it supports you on your spiritual journey.